Hey guys, welcome back to Lynn's Garden. Today we're going to talk about something called chop and drop. So if you haven't studied permaculture, you may not have heard of chop and drop. It's a system where it is just like what it sounds like. You chop something and then you drop it on the ground. So another way you could think of this is just throw it on the ground. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to do a little bit of chop and drop. The purpose of this is to cover the soil with mulch, add nutrients, add moisture that's going to hold moisture in the soil, basically composting in place, turning into nutrients, protecting the soil in the summer. There's all kinds of benefits to not having to bag it. I definitely don't throw away any organic matter. It's all really useful stuff. So you don't have to buy those bags from Lowe's or Home Depot anymore to fill with all of your leaves. Just throw it on the ground. Okay, so come with me and let's do some chop and drop. Wow, look at these massive Jurassic heart-shaped leaves. Aren't sunflowers awesome? This is about to bloom, you guys. Can you see that? Wow. So, but, you know, even though it looks beautiful and is very healthy, some of these leaves at the bottom are already turning yellow. Some of them are even already dead. Let's see. Like that. So what I'm going to do today is basically prune the plants, but I'm going to do chop and drop. So you can chop with anything you want. Today I'm using my KitchenAid scissors. You can get pretty much anywhere. And these are made for the kitchen, but you can use any kind of pruners. It's just that what I'm doing is not very thick fibrous material, so the scissors are just fine. You can use pruners, nippers, just really depends on the thickness of what you're cutting. So actually sometimes I even just rip the leaves off by hand, but I don't want to recommend that because it does sometimes rip kind of down the stem of the plant and you just have to do it very carefully. So let's just get started doing this with scissors, okay? So there you go. Boop, done. And then it goes to feed the plant underneath it. All of the sunflowers I have are multi-stemmed, multi-headed flowers, which means that they're just going to continue growing and making flowers all season long. Instead of something like a mammoth sunflower seed, which does grow the basic sunflowers that you're going to expect to see in the supermarket, they only make one flower head and then they die. And I didn't like that. So all of these are pretty much just self-seeded from last year. And usually it's the bottom leaves that need to be cut and the top leaves are okay. And then from every node along here, a new flower is growing. So it's going to be incredible. So I'm done with that one. Over here, got another yellow one. Just gonna trim up the bottom ones. You can see also the sunflower leaves. Every part of the sunflower is edible, you guys. So the seeds, the leaves, the stems, the flowers, the petals. And I think that it's the goldfinches right now landing on these leaves and just like pecking them a little bit. So that's cute because I love them and they love the seeds too. So I get to see tons of them. Here in Texas, we're on the pathway of migration from Mexico to Canada. So we get to see some incredible birds and butterflies coming through in addition to the native ones that we have. So I like to have lots of fun stuff to attract them, like sunflowers. These are also really important as shade and also even like a pole for vining plants to grow up. See, this one was definitely gotten by some goldfinches. They're these tiny, tiny little birds with gold bellies. They're adorable. I think they're technically called the lesser goldfinch, but yeah, I thought that sounds like kind of demeaning. What makes them lesser, you know? They're pretty awesome. I'm just gonna call them a goldfinch. Okay. So, have you guys been surviving this hot weather? I am not a fan. Ooh, and look at this. Sometimes there's eggs or bugs on the bottom of different leaves. I might as well just get rid of this one. Then I don't have to worry about whatever that is. Okay. A few more on this side that I didn't really see that are getting yellow. Now those leaves don't grow back, but like I said, each one of these is a flower. These leaves are going to get bigger. The main flower head is up at the very top, and this will probably double in size, but it can also like quadruple in thickness of the main stem, and they all almost end up like trees. But then after the season is over, I end up putting them all through my shredder, and it's very fun, and it's almost like foamy inside, like styrofoam. So who knows, maybe that could be a styrofoam replacement in the future. Okay, moving on. Like, honestly, I don't really care about the potato stuff right now. I'm just gonna let those continue to die, and soon they will be harvested. But I am going out of town for a few days, so when I get back, I will make another video on that. So also to prepare for going out of town, doing a little bit of chop and drop is gonna help, because it's gonna help keep the moisture in the soil while I'm gone. We might have thunderstorms while I'm gone, and that would be kind of great, because then I wouldn't even have to worry about watering. But I never can really count on that. Even if it says it's gonna rain, it may or may not rain. We can actually get thunder and lightning storms with no rain at all. It just like threatens to rain. It honestly feels like a humid kind of island in the Caribbean kind of feel, even though we're 200 miles from the ocean. It's extremely humid, but so hot. I pretty much can't even go outside in the afternoon. I love being outside in the evenings though, because in the evenings, it is so nice outside here. I find myself staying up later and later right now just because I can't go outside during the day. And then I end up wanting to hang out outside a little bit too late at night, but it's very nice. Okay. Yeah, so you know what? You do not have to bag your leaves anymore. You do not have to send them to the landfill. You know, some of the time they go to some kind of composting place, depending on who you have. But a lot of time you are bagging those leaves in a nice compostable bag just for them to cart it off to the landfill. And, you know, this is amazing nutrients that you're just giving away, which is kind of dumb. And then what? Go out and buy fertilizer instead? Synthetic fertilizer when you already had it at home for free? This stuff is going to decompose over time. It's going to feed the soil microbiome, which is just all of the little buggies and microscopic bacteria and fungi that live in the soil that are all connected to our food web. This is why it's so important to feed them and keep them alive. Give them water. Don't let them die. Don't give them synthetic chemicals. Even synthetic fertilizer kills the microbiology. And then the plants no longer have the connection from the microbiology to release the nutrients. So then they end up being addicted to synthetic fertilizer because they can't even get it in a natural way. So if you have been doing synthetics for a long time, there's just like a transition. It might take a few years really to get your soil to good enough to be able to do these organic practices. But it can be done. It can be done. And after a few years, it'll be like it was always organic. Hopefully. I mean, a lot of these chemicals can last in the soil for who knows how long. You know, please stop using glyphosate, which is Roundup. If it's legal in your area, it really shouldn't be. Anyway, we can talk more about that later. I have lots of opinions. But that is the basic chop and drop. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me today, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you next week.